Bourbon Barkeep, we are back.
Welcome back.
Curtis.
Noah, thanks again for joining us.
Here we are.
Week 7 or 8, 9 or 10, something like that. 2 months, not less, maybe more or less, I don't know. But we've been busy.
Very busy.
Yeah.
So we had last weekend, and if you keep up with us on Instagram, that's at least where we post, not TikTok. We had Scarfest.
Cigar-Fest, yep.
Hang on one second. Watch this.
Damn.
These were just included in the
Price of
ticket
admission.
price.
Yeah.
At this point, this is not like, hey, I just went out and bought a bunch. That is a monster pack.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Kansas City every September, I believe it's the weekend after Labor Day, the Country Club Plaza puts on an event called Cigar Fest where dozens of different cigar manufacturers kind of do this giant festival. 100 people go. They give you about 50 sticks with the price of admission.
We had Martin City Brewery there.
Yeah.
We had Rieger there. We had 3 Chords there,
Yep.
which we actually had a subscriber give us a 3 Chords bottle of bourbon
Yeah.
for a review. So that will be coming in the near future.
Yeah, the next couple months for sure.
Yes. All right. So we got Smoke Wagon tonight.
Yep.
This is a bottle that
It's
you've
gorgeous.
been hyping up.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, I've had it before. As you can tell, this is not a bottle that we cracked tonight. So my element of surprise is gone, but yours is still alive and well.
Yes. Yes. So this is H&C Distilling out of Las Vegas, Nevada, with Aaron Chepadek.
Yeah, got it.
And who's my other guy?
Jonathan Hensley, I believe.
Look at you paying attention.
Me, man.
Do a little prep. You
Yep.
see that? So
We
these
try
guys,
around here.
We try
try
it's
around
like
here.
15 minutes of real big effort behind the scenes. Part of it's moving the chairs. So they were actually vodka guys.
Okay.
So they did Silver Dollar vodka, and apparently sticking with the Western theme, they went with a little Smoke Wagon as well.
Okay.
So I did sneak a little sniff, and there's not a lot of smoke. Doesn't smell like someone just fired a gun.
It's not a smoky scotch. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yes. So what they actually went with, Smoke Wagon, was actually a Colt revolver that apparently won the West, if you will.
Really? The little finger twirl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those guys. Little John Wayne.
Good stuff.
So as we said, we got like this really cool kind of maybe desert rose, if you will, kind of engravings.
The actual glass, I'm sure you can see it on the camera as well. The actual glass has the engravings, which is kind of unique. Not a ton of distillers go to those lengths to make their bottle look pretty and unique like that, so pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is a small batch straight bourbon whiskey out of Las Vegas, which we mentioned. The seal actually has some Latin. Ready for this? Watch
Hit
this.
it? Yeah.
Watch this. I'm fluent.
I can't wait to hear you try this.
Bibibus reamortem est.
And that means
It kind of sounds like a little Harry Potter, doesn't it?
Wingardium.
There you are. All right. So I had to look it up. So it actually means
You had to look that up?
I had to look that up. Yeah. I'm gonna
Where you
get
been, man?
tattooed right here. It actually means drink for me must die.
Wow.
All right.
That's dark. That's morbid.
My wife has a birthday coming up. I may actually write that in her card. So before we die, let's get this taste.
Deal.
Get that out
That
of
was
the
a
way.
good segue.
You like that?
That was better.
Here,
To you?
we're
To you?
Professional.
Ooh.
I know what I get, and it's going to be really weird to you.
I get a caramel, like a lighter, sweeter caramel. There's some vanilla there too.
So here's mine.
Okay.
I get your vanilla, and you know how times to where you're like, hey, I get apple and cinnamon, but it's not like pie. They're just separate somehow, even though it's still on the nose. I get like an orange creamsicle.
Okay.
So you get that vanilla. I definitely get the soft vanilla, but there's like a creaminess into this orange that's really on the front for some reason.
Sure. Yeah. There's like a little bit of spice to it as well.
It is a
little bit
high
of
rye.
pepper, yeah.
I actually didn't mention that piece. So this is pure MGP. So in pure MGP form, this is going to be 36% rye, 60% corn, and the rest barley. Whatever.
What's the proof on this? It's 100 proof. Okay. So it's not bottled and bond, but it's still 100 proof.
Yeah, they went with the no age statement.
Yep. Let's do it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that kind of creamy caramel continues.
Yeah, I get a nice spice right on the tip of the tongue,
Yeah.
but it really smooths out as it starts to go down.
A decent finish. Nothing crazy, but decent finish.
It does leave my mouth very watery.
Sure.
Doesn't dry it out at all, but a nice mouth feel to where it's still just kind of on the tongue and just kind of evolving.
Yeah, it opens with like immediate sweetness, like that caramel, vanilla, caramel. I feel like I switch back and forth.
I went with caramel because that A is there.
Yeah,
We're
but so there's a CH and yeah, that doesn't really mean anything.
Until I can afford one, I'll figure that one out. But I
Okay.
can't afford caramel.
Yeah, last week you did say you couldn't read. That's true.
I do get the pepper. There is kind of like an allspice in there to where, once again, with it being that higher rye, it's something that you would expect. Yeah, I get a little more oak on the nose than I do the tongue. And
it comes
then
back.
the oak comes back to where you're like,
With you.
oh, yeah.
With
okay.
you, yep.
If you like the MGP recipe, this is probably going to be right in your wheelhouse.
Sure.
Very smooth, great mouthfeel. The hug, if you will, leaves a little to be desired, but I like mine a touch hotter.
Okay. You see, I enjoy the finish. I think it's longer than most. And like we talked about a second ago, you get new flavors. Like that oak definitely comes back in full force.
Yeah, it does evolve. Part of me is a little biased because we've had a really long summer to where maybe it's that itching for that campfire. Let's go outside.
Sure.
But it's a good finish. It won't be docked when we get there, and we'll see.
Well, let's get there, shall we?
Let's get there.
All right, we'll be right back. We'll grab our books and we'll get to grading. We have 4 categories. As you saw last week, if you watched last week's video, we decided to do away with the availability category. We felt
Which is too tough.
Yeah,
we
I
don't know what Utah's doing.
Exactly. We have no clue where you can find stuff, and trying to just guess it seems silly. So
And Florida has no idea what they're doing. So how are we supposed to gauge?
you could say that. I feel like in multiple different areas.
Oh,
of
I
life,
meant it.
for sure. But yeah, so we're clean 4 categories now. We have senses, it factor. So category 3 would be hug, another word for finish. We touched on that a second ago. And then finally, bang for buck, which is a pretty important one. You know, does this bottle exceed expectations in terms of its price, or does it underwhelm? Does it disappoint you?
Well, and ultimately, it gives the $50 bottles a chance to stand up to the 100 and 250s and all the other bottles that we have that are over 1,000 in our store.
It's definitely a chance for cheaper bottles to make up some ground, and then the expensive bottles to get brought back to earth a little bit.
Right.
So, but we'll be right back. We'll grab our books and we'll get graded. All right, and we're back. I feel like I nailed that.
proud of
I
you.
nailed that, man. And we're back now. See. All right, so got our books. We're gonna go through our 4 categories: senses, it factor, hug, and bang for buck. So, do you want to get us started with senses?
It's just a damn good bourbon. I mean, it has what we were talking about. The orange creamsicle is wild.
It's cool.
I mean, it's really
It's definitely unique. It's different.
it's there. The mouthfeel was really good.
Do you want me
I
to
don't
go?
know. No, I'm just talking through my score.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 70.
Okay.
I mean,
That's what I'm gonna go.
if our baseline's 50 for everybody that's new,
Yeah.
I think it's 70. It punches above average.
Yeah.
It should set itself apart a little bit, but the rye comes through. I think they have it at 36%, if I remember right.
Yep.
60% corn, and then you just have the 3% barley, but that rye is there, like
For
you
sure.
would
You
expect
definitely
with the
get it.
MGP.
Yep. Okay. So 270s for senses, really good score. It factor, I'll take it first this time.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with the score of 70. It's a really good but not great score. As you talked about with the Latin, I think that's kind of a cool little thing that they do that's unique. The bottle itself is just beautiful. The fact that they really put, I'm sure that probably costs more to put the actual engravings in the bottle itself. Really cool. Like you said, the orange creamsicle, a little bit of uniqueness. that
Also,
you don't-
senses bleeds into it for you.
Well,
I like it. No, I like it.
There's it factor to me means uniqueness. Is it memorable? And that helps for sure.
It's very personal.
Yes. So yeah, I'll go 70 again. Really good score.
I'm going to go just a step down with 65. I think the bottle is beautiful. There is some, we just can't find it out here in Kansas City at least, to where if I found that bottle, I would pick it up,
an immediate
which
buy.
means something.
Well, it helps that it's $50. It's not like you're making a crazy commitment financially.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, with the Western theme, really cool.
Spin that revolver.
Love the revolver. Love the Latin since I'm fluent.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll go 65.
That Bibimus.
Like
Wingardium. That brings us to our third category, which is hug. In other words, finish. We touched on this earlier. Really, really good. Probably not great. Didn't blow me out of the water. It was helpful that we got more oak in the finish. That was relatively new. You got a little bit of oak in the nose, but
yeah,
that really kind of blossomed at the end, which is important to a finish, in my opinion, is new flavors.
It definitely evolved. It stood up for sure.
So I'll go 70 once more. I'm kind of sticking to the script here, but
I'm going to go a little lower. This could be, I know we talked about mood being it factor. We've had a really long summer out here. I'm kind of itching for some meat,
want a little more
if you
warmth.
will.
Okay, that's fine.
It's super smooth. It does evolve on you. The mouthfeel, I take into senses. So in terms of how it gets from esophagus to my tummy tum, I'm going to go just a 65. So it's very good.
Not elite.
But yeah, cool. It's above average.
Cool. Okay. And then fourth and final, and in my opinion, besides probably sense, is the most important category, considering you and I don't know to speak for you, but I care about what bottles cost. I'm not in a stage of life where I just don't really look at a price tag. Not yet anyway, maybe one day. I'm going to go 60. It is $50. There's a lot of different bottles that are right around that same price point.
So many, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go, I'm slightly impressed by the overall bourbon compared to $50.
Okay. I think I'll meet you at 60. Yeah, I don't think I have too much more to add that we haven't said. I mean, the bottle's beautiful. The taste is great. There's so much in the $50 range that makes it tough to separate yourself.
Yeah, another way you can think about this is bang for the buck is if you didn't know the price, what would you guess? And I would probably go $60, $65 is what I'd guess that bottle costs.
Knowing I haven't seen it and I watched a great review like the Bourbon Barkeep, I would pay 65. 70 would be a real stretch at this point.
Especially if there's other $70 bottles on that shelf that you're like, man.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, got our 4 scores. We're going to take a second to total up our final, and we'll be right back. Cool.
And we're back.
Okay.
This is Curtis and Noah.
Yeah, you sent that one.
I went for it. It was all in.
So got our final scores. We did our totalings, if you will. We have weights on each category that I've thrown on the board at this point. So our lovely whiteboard.
Like a weatherman.
Sure. If you look at this cold front coming in.
Or weather person. I apologize.
We're going to do a they, them here, huh? Okay. So after totaling up our 4 categories, myself, slightly higher than you, 67.5. Really, really good score. It does not crack my top 3.
You being slightly higher is not surprising at this point. This is a theme.
It is, except for last week. You were kind of leaps and bounds above me last week.
Yeah, I really liked it.
But not by much this week. You were 66.8, I think, so basically within a point.
Well, it was kind of fun because I was looking back at our spreadsheet that will be on Patreon sooner or later. And it's just a notch above McKenna. So the analogy, if you will, is very appropriate. I mean, it's McKenna whiskey of the year.
Yeah. This is $25 cheaper, though, and that's where it made up all the ground.
Yes, I agree.
So, yeah. I have our lists of our top 3 that we've done on this channel thus far behind us, and this doesn't crack either of our top 3s, but it's damn close. I want to say it's 4 for both of us. Yeah. So last week, we'll move into our sports segment, if you will.
We need
we got a weather segment, news, and we're back. But yeah, so 1-1 on our week 1 locks of the week last week. I cashed the teaser, which in my opinion is probably the more important bet to cash, considering we laid heavier juice. That was a minus 140 that we cashed. Ravens took care of business. The Packers took care of business, man. The Packers look good. Saints minus 3, unfortunately, took a loss there. had 4-point lead with 3 minutes left, and
It was there. We were texting.
yeah, Mike Vrabel elected to kick a field goal with 3 minutes left, down 4. Wouldn't advise that as a head coach, and guess what? They lost.
Defensive mind.
What are you doing? Hey, let's turn a one possession game into a 1-possession game. That makes up a whole lot of ground. But anyway, 1-1 locks of the week, which brings me into this week's lock of the week, and I'm going to shift to college. There's a spot I really love in college.
Okay.
So I'm going to shift to college this week. I'm going to go Bama minus 31.5. You can find that a couple different places.
This would feel so much more emphatic if you had like
A button off of a loss, and it wasn't really embarrassing, but it was pretty disappointing. Like they should have. It
was a Bama loss.
Touchdown
regardless.
favorites. You know, when you're 7-point favorites and you lose, that game was in Tuscaloosa. So, and I know Nick Saban wasn't very friendly this week. And it was a tough week of practice for sure.
Practice was kicked up a bit.
They're playing USF.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls. They're okay.
It's the wife's alum. I gotta say something.
Okay, fair enough. I take that back. They're probably no offense to wife, but there's a bottom 20 team football and it's in USF.
She doesn't care.
So there's not much resistance. I don't think that's going to be seen Saturday afternoon game. Where is that? Is it Miami? Is that where USF is?
No, it's St. Pete.
Okay, so that's not really South Florida.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Okay. So very short flight for Bama. So travel doesn't really weigh into it. I think it's going to be one of those games where they're going to kick the shit out of a team like 56-3, something like that. You know how those games go.
Well, and after a loss, I mean, you have to winning.
You have to win impressively.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You need to win with style.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be, in my opinion, 4 quarters, no let up, just ram it down their throats. So
Yep.
I'll take 31.5. It's going to be a blowout. We'll see if they blow it out by 32.
You need a bad blowout.
Let's wrap this thing up, man.
What do you want to do?
Like, subscribe. Please subscribe. Yeah.
Like, subscribe, do those stuff. Until
Cheers to
then,
you guys. Appreciate you.
thank you.